Welcome to Joy for the Journey. We're going to take a quick look at Josiah's kindergarten portfolio. I used Microsoft Word to do the front cover with his favorite show in kindergarten, his favorite Bible story, David and Goliath, and Bible, Beginner's Bible, and a few memories. I enjoy putting some memory pieces in the front. This is from his time capsule, these papers. We took a copy of his hands. Normally each year we do with paint a handprint, a footprint, and I write his height, weight, shoe size, things like that on the paper as well. This year we just did the time capsule and that. In the past we've done a calendar where we use a calendar time as well as writing down memories and doing drawings. Awards are fun. He did a kindergarten graduation. He completed kindergarten math at the beginning of the year, moved on to first grade, and he got awards for doing his Simply piano, each different class within that. This was a responsibility system we used with pictures for doing different things. A list of things he learned or accomplished. Our daily routines that I typed up that we did for that year, what our day looked like, our homeschool group schedule, our overview for the year by each month, and this is more of the overview explanation, then our lesson plans by the month. Then I have a tab for each subject area, or at least I did for this year. Kindergarten. Math, a key thing I like is copying the table of contents and either just checking off as you go so that you can have a record of what they did, and or putting the date. If you skipped a lesson, you can write that and put what you did instead, or if you did something instead. I think it's just a great way to quickly see. And that way, if you want, you don't have to put anything else for math except maybe if you did some assessments out of the curriculum, you could always just copy those and put them in the portfolio. Of course, you could put all their daily work as well if you want to. And then for writing, anytime he did writing that I didn't have a hard copy of, like if he sent a card or a letter to a friend, I did a little log for that. But otherwise, for writing, it's just whatever physical work he did in kindergarten. So each week we had a small theme that fit into a bigger theme for the month, and we made little books. So like in September, our theme was community workers, and so each week we focused on a different community worker and made a book for firefighters one week, and then another week was police officers. I think we ended up only doing 2, I guess. And then various other writing pieces that he did. We did a then and now unit and did this book over a month about homes, communication, transportation, then and now. This is a really neat one off Teachers Pay Teachers where you have the past and then you flip it open, you have the present, and then you can have them listen to books you read about these things or read about it and then write about it. And we did an American Symbols unit one month, and so each week a different symbol that led to a big book about all the American symbols. Presidents, Earth and space. So most of our things centralize around, or our themes are around history or science. In the spring we did ants and butterflies. And plants. So again, for writing, do you have to keep everything? No, I tend to keep everything. You could just keep a few sample writing pieces. And I always think, well, what am I going to do with, grades K through 12 portfolios? You have all these binders in your house somewhere or out in your attic or garage. What do you do with all this? Well, You don't have to keep portfolios for more than 2 years. I think it was 2 years, don't quote me on that, at least in Florida. But what you could do is after every 2 years or maybe longer, you can consolidate and take, years, kindergarten through whatever, and pull out just your favorite pieces and then make a binder that says elementary binder and have just your favorite pieces. Or, you could do 2 years or 3 years in one binder and consolidate. And that way you take some of those binders and you recycle them and use them for a future grade because you won't need as many now. Okay, so then reading. I used this ERLA system I had when I taught in public schools to kind of just curiously see where he was at. So I checked off some words he happened to already know. It was neat because it's like we weren't studying these words and just seeing how they just learn and grow through the ways that I was teaching him reading myself. And we use a reading log. So like I write down the books that I read to him, and I used a reading log that actually numbers it. So that was kind of fun because I was able to see that at the end of the year, we read like, I think just almost to 500 books. That was exciting. This year I'm doing more of a tally system because I'm like, okay, I don't want to write down every book I read him. That's a lot of books. And then I do a reading log for him, or I did this past year in kindergarten where I wrote down every book he read. Now this year I wanted him to be more independent, but I also felt like as a first grader to write down every title he read was kind of a lot. So I did a tally system for him too, like with boxes on one page for each month, and he just puts a tally for every book he read and a star for any chapter books he finished. So for reading, I think the main thing to have in your portfolio is a reading log of books you read to your children or child that's school age, and a log of what they read. And maybe it could be, like I said, just tallies or actually writing them down. Now, if you do the tallies, sometimes I would write in the box like favorite books or themes that we read on, in case I did want some things written down. And then this last tab is kind of like your content area tab. I did do a separate one for science and history because a lot of that kind of, it's just the same kind of thing. You end up reading books to them, which is reflected in the reading log, and then the projects are just like these kind of papers that could end up in here. So we did me on the map, little cut and paste for then and now, and little Johnny Appleseed book, and this cute little snowman glyph, a little guy for Christopher Columbus. And let's see, we did teddy bear's picnic mask and a pilgrim hat for Thanksgiving and a little seedy fish for the book. What is that book called? I can't think of it now. And did some Johnny Appleseed art and Thanksgiving art, just various little freelance art he did. Earth Day art. Of course, some of the things you do that are building or hands-on or Play-Doh and things you make can't actually go into the portfolio. And then I had this little log of science activities, which I ended up deciding that I didn't need. I think if you're doing a lot of science experiments, that it's not like a physical paper that they're doing or a physical, you don't want to print a bunch of pictures. Do you have to put it in your portfolio? No, but you could have a log of science activities you did. I think it's kind of fun to look back on that too. Or you could have like little experiment sheets or journals, science journals. I guess it depends on that year and what your age your child is and what works. Little Earth and Space unit we did, and talking about how the day and night works with orbiting and rotating. And our butterfly unit. So some of the things in the themes in writing you'll see are reflected here as well. We had a little ant farm journal, and he drew how the ant farm changed over time. Little cut and paste, glow-in-the-dark paint with under the fluorescent light. This glowed. That was fun. These are some other random little projects he did. we did for Fairy Tale Friday, the 3 little pigs. And he had stick figures, and then I did a video of him reenacting it. And it was fun for a few days. He enjoyed playing with that. And he made the little title. And I thought that would be a fun ongoing thing, like each month have like a Fairy Tale Friday where he makes a scene, and we didn't end up doing it. Maybe we will one year before he's too old, or with my other children. He really enjoyed making that scene, and I obviously was part of it too. And then my younger daughter made her own little preschool version. So yes, that's pretty much the portfolio. And I think the key components are, you know, having dividers and deciding how you want to divide that up, either by subject area or by month or in various other ways. And then having your reading log, having your table of contents copied for math, and deciding if you need a log for writing, you know, things that they wrote that were sent away. Most people probably don't care if there's a record of that. You decide, do I want a science log? Do I want to write down activities or nature walks or set experiments we did that weren't reflected on paper? And so, and otherwise, then you just put in your writing samples, and then you have every subject covered. And you might have little memorabilia and things of that nature. And that is your portfolio.